Join us as we dive into the captivating story of Lexy, a talented musician who discovered the transformative power of music as a way to express her hidden emotions and ultimately save her life. Through her soul stirring compositions, Lexus not only shares, I said Lexus, not Lexi. Lexi not only shares her own experiences, but also sheds light on the realities of our emotional existence. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and awakened as we explore the depths of the human soul through the lens of Lexi's music.
Oh, wow. That was really beautiful.
Mm.
It's okay though. Anyways, too, my niece's name is Alexis. So
She can be part of this with us.
yeah, that's right.
Welcome to the Happiness on Tap podcast, where guests dive deep into the vulnerable experiences that contribute to their happiness. I'm Leann Herron, certified health and life coach, owner of Finding Resilience with Leann, and creator and host of this podcast. This is part of our entrepreneur series. Thank you for joining us for From Hidden Emotions to Musical Liberation, Lexi's journey of soulful expression. Hello, Lexi. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. That was, oh my gosh, I feel so wonderful. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Lexi's start with music started with relationships in her family. Her love of music was discovered when spending time with her father, and then when she was encouraged by her brother to play drums for his rock band. She immediately knew she loved music and went on to learn how to play guitar, lyrical structure, and write lyrics on her own. She had been writing music as something to pass the time and express herself, as well as let her emotions, which she kept very hidden, out and off her chest. Eventually, she found that it would save her life. Lexi's lyrics and music are inspired by real events, people and characters, feelings and emotions. Just the true, raw events of life that we can all relate to. Lexi's music isn't just about her, it's about reality, stories from others, inspiration from awakenings in wisdom, and to challenge ourselves to reach down into our soul and face the realities of how we work as emotional beings. So, Lexi, can you tell us just a little bit about what you do?
Well, I'm from Magdalene, New Mexico, and I am a musician right now. And I basically, for me, music was my therapy. It was somewhere that I could release and go, and it gave me kind of an escape. And so I didn't really ever play in front of people because like when roommates were gone and stuff, I was like, yes, I have the whole house to myself. Like I can, write music because it was about the unbecoming truths in my life. And so that was kind of my escape. But then I realized a really good friend of mine, a very good friend actually, thank you, you know who you are, told me, hey, wake up, the world needs to hear your music. And it was really profound, and I decided that is exactly what I need to be doing. I feel like if I can, people are so nowadays that we're rushing all the time. Everything, it's so fast paced. And so sometimes if you're like in the Starbucks and you're like getting coffee and you're like, you got too busy disorder, whatever. And you are you're just kind of, if there's a song on, you can recognize that takes you back to a moment, or maybe you never even heard the song before, and it it just makes you go back or feel that emotion, and it makes you stop in time, literally, um, and really absorb that. And I think that humans right now need to stop and have some mindfulness.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, Dr. Blue, and so it really got serious for me because I started doing Thursday Thoughts for Tunes, which I came up with that little title because I every Thursday I write a tune, about your tale, whatever. And so it's like that became really, really, really awesome. It's on YouTube, by the way, like all of them. And every Thursday I would draw a name out of a hat, and whoever's name I drew, then, I would do their topic, because people would write into me and they would tell me their stories or whatever. Because that's how I was like, wait a minute, I can take inspiration. Because honestly, in college, I actually, like the college parties and stuff, my roommate was from Colombia, and it was really awesome. I mean, the dorms we were in were absolutely horrible. They were disgusting. But whenever I went to lunch one day and I came back, she was in the closet hiding, playing my guitar. And I was like, I went in there and I was like, "Oh, have you been hiding this from me the whole time? You can play." And she's like, "I am so sorry." She was so cute. And so we started playing and, like, outside and stuff, outside our dorm rooms. And so, anyways, but at the college parties, her and I would both go. And at the end of the night, when everyone was like, super drunk and whatever, and they're telling their sob stories, I was sitting in the corner listening and writing about it, because people's stories were really interesting. And so, anyways, and then so when people started writing in, it was awesome. And some of the recordings, like, I mean, I think about the sound quality was pretty good. And it was just like the garage, or it was like whatever it be, whatever the divine power that let that be. It was amazing. And so, anyways, but it became kind of really personal for people, um, especially males, stuff like that. You're like, I've never met these people in my life, but, like, they girlfriends would get jealous or whatever, or mad or whatever. And it was like, oh no, I would just, it happens.
It happens.
And so I had to kind of step back from that. Now you can see my DIY creative YouTube video. But I still do that. I still take people's emotions and their stories. But the thing about it is that I started to recognize that people were telling me at my shows that they had a really, really bad day, or they were just like fed up with life. Actually, one time um I was performing, and I leave cards out and say, if you don't have a tip, like money, then do you have a tip for me? You got a new recipe? You want to tell me a story, tell me a tale. And so that became some really beautiful, because people at the end of the night, like, really honestly, I say that at my shows, but, like, I'm really like, it's cool to count money and all, but reading what people write me is way, way cooler.
Yeah.
And so that is just like, anyways, I have had some pretty emotional ones. And YouTube, there's some that are, I mean, how it happened that, witness protection would put them at this, in this town, and me be at that bar, and we perform, and, like, them see me and this story that they had. And it was just crazy.
I'll have to go and look at your YouTube channel
I
more.
know. Yeah. And so, anyways, but Dr. Blue, who's a very, very good friend of mine that just passed away, and he was my therapist. He was a hypnotherapist, and he was amazing. He, like, helped me quit smoking, and he did it in a way that was, I didn't desire it at all. No problems, whatever. See you later. And so, but he told me he used to have house concerts and stuff like that. And he was a very, very dear friend. I didn't even know he was 79. I had no, you know what I mean?
Wow.
He just, I went to his birthday party recently and I was like, you're 79? Look, they're blue. We were just like, anyways, but so he had he told me that there was a resonance within my sound, or there's a frequency within my sound, like this, my voice,
Mhm.
and it calms people. And I feel like that is the most amazing thing to hear. Like I had a producer one time say, he was like, you could go play the bass, you could go play the guitar, you could go learn how to do the drums. He's like, but
But
this,
that voice.
that's given to you by God. So I feel like, and there's been so many different things. Like my dad is, I love him so much. He's amazing. But when I was a little girl, I wanted braces real, real bad.
I
I
don't
would
know
take
why we all wanted them so
I
bad.
would take like my necklaces and I'd like put them up to my teeth and I'd be like, oh, look. And so my sister had braces and I was like, oh, really, I always wanted them. And my dad was like, no, 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 it's okay. Cause she's my stepsister. And so he was like, your teeth, he goes, your teeth are fine. And I was like, well, the bottom teeth, Dad, the bottom teeth. And he's like, no, 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 your mouth will get a little bit bigger and,
Yeah,
they'll
make
fall
room.
into place. And I was
Yes.
like, Dad, come on, and he just like, he would not, that was just, he wouldn't do it. And I thought he was ruining my life. Oh,
So dramatic.
oh my God, no. And so, but then I got older and these teeth, like they were like in the back, right? Like behind the others. And anyways, I got older and they moved into place, but they were, they're still kind of like, and so I got older, and whenever I went into college, I was going to be a speech pathologist in you know what I mean? And because I was going to do teaching, and then I realized, oh, that's not really about teaching anymore. It's a whole system of,
Yeah.
Anyways, and I thought, well, I still want to work with kids and stuff. So I was going to be a speech pathologist, and I remember my first class in audiology, and in the very first chapter, like Jewel was a example because, and like I've seen her, and I'm like, I see her videos and stuff, and I'm like, man, her voice is, oh my God,
Amazing.
no one can. It's hello, it's beautiful. And so, but I was, you know what I mean? I was like, man, like if she has a bunch of money, like why, you know what I mean? Why doesn't she get her, teeth fixed? And then I realized in that audiology class that the way that your mouth is, that was when I was a young, dumb kid, I'm like, anyways, but in that class, I learned that the shape of your mouth and the way that your teeth are formed create your sounds. And that is so cool.
That is you. That is 100% your uniqueness.
There's a thing about all these people that have that voice that can soothe you. Sarah McLachlan, Jewel. It's like art. It is.
It is.
It's like art. It is art.
It is art. It is. So if you want to hear an original song from Lexy, you're going to have to stick around to the end. So let's learn some more. Happiness on Tap's mission is to provide value to our listeners by providing tips and tools while providing education and information. This series will include tips and tools from each presenter on their struggles, their obstacles, and lessons learned along the way as an entrepreneur, and their journey will provide valuable information to help save you time and your sanity, or will just provide you an in-depth look at this wonderful person. My husband and I have a passion for supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses. And when I opened my coaching practice, I wanted to continue that and have been working and having fun, providing community and support an art space for local artists, and now creating this podcast so that I can offer my entrepreneurs a platform to share their story with many. We met this beautiful soul at Albuquerque's Got Talent at Uptown Funk. She is also a friend of a special friend. Recently, we were able to go and listen to Lexy play at the Albuquerque Grill and enjoyed a pleasant dinner and listening to her deep and meaningful music. And I am so excited to get to spend this time visiting with Lexy and hear all about her recent tour in Texas. So what can you tell us about your tour?
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was actually, I just had mentioned Dr. Blue, my dear friend that just passed away. He was always introducing me to people. He cared a lot about me, and he was introducing me to people all the time that were people that I needed to know, and people that, you know what I mean, would help me with my creative goals and my success.
Mhm.
And it really was, he was a huge impact in my life. And he's still around. I know he is, see you again. Anyways, but so he what was I just saying?
Put you in place with the people in Texas?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I'm guessing.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, the art was so beautiful. I was looking at it and I was, it had nothing to do. Anyways. So yeah, so he introduced me to my friend that actually was on a tour himself, Katsuk, which is Katsu, 2 dots over the U and a K. Katsuk. And he is amazing. He was going from California to one point over there, like, I don't know which place California.
California.
Anyways, but yeah, so we went from California to Arizona to New Mexico back to Texas, and his music is very, very just good for you to listen to, something that makes you feel good, and lyrics about storytelling that is well written, and it's an incredible experience. Instead of just background music, it's an experience,
And that's how I like to listen to music.
Oh, it's amazing. And so Dr. Blue had told me, I had just gotten back from Salida, Colorado, and I went out there to go see another amazing artist, Vicki Genfan. Have you ever heard of her? She's amazing. And she does, oh my gosh, she does this tuning noodling where she does all these different tunings and oh my God. And she's incredible. She's been playing since she was 4 or something. And she's a beautiful person, and it was in this theater, and it was just oh. And the people that opened for her, they played the violin and the cello. And
violin's my favorite.
God, that cello reaches you. It reaches down into you and pulls out, you know what I mean? And it was just an incredible experience. And I just gotten back from that trip, and then Dr. Blue called me and he was like, hey, Cat Soup's in town. And he was like, he's going to be at this art gallery and he's performing. And I was like, who was that? I don't even know who this is. And he was like, well, come over here and check him out. He's really good. And he sends me a link, and I was like, okay. And I listened to the link as soon as I hung up, and I was like, I put it on, and I was like, and I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes, you don't know. You're like, I'm really, really tired. I don't know. But I listened and I was like, wait a minute, this is badass. I was like, I have to go to this. I have to go. And so I went to this art gallery, and I walk in and he's playing, and it was amazing. And Dr. Blue was there and everybody. It was really an intimate show, And then on the break or whatever, he came up and asked me if I wanted to play a couple songs. And I was like, oh, oh, there's
Me?
me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so of course, so I got up and I played a couple songs or whatever. And then it was awesome because he had the I've been really trying to work on getting the bass drum, and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then he plays like this, he plays the flute, the Indian flute.
I like
Oh, that's what my music, like that's the kind of vibe
That's the vibe.
I really love, that vibe. And so anyways, and then after that, yeah, I was going through a lot at the time. And Dr. Blue is he was my regular therapist. I was seeing him. I was supposed to see him the Thursday I got back from Dallas, and he passed away that
Aw.
Wednesday. Or I think it was, yeah, I think it was Tuesday. I think he in the night on Tuesday, you know. Anyways, but so it was pretty hard. But Dallas, you know, going out there at that time, he was still alive, and he was wishing me all the best in all the world and was so excited. And I just love him for that. And he cared a lot about, you know, Daniel Katsuk. That's someone that, you know, and that whole going out there was such an awesome experience because they do this thing at Binion's in, that one's in Fort Worth, and they do like a live feed. You can actually go to YouTube, and it's live at Binion's.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh. And so and and that was really really cool because just being in Texas and being in Dallas, she's going through the big D and don't mean Dallas. And I was making videos and I was like, she's going through the big D and don't mean, I mean, I do mean Dallas.
I know Dallas.
I do mean Dallas. Right. Right. And so, but the one that, so, and then I did another one at this, very, very ritzy, very nice, beautiful. And it was summertime, and there was, so my backdrop was actually, uh, this huge neon sign that said love. And it was like, I have them on my Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And it was just like so beautiful. And there was a pool over here. It was like a resort, or like it was like a resort kind of like, it was very posh, very. So that one I played, and it was really neat because there was a lot of really big families. You know what I mean? They were kind of out doing, you know, events. And so it was a special event kind of a place. And so that one was really cool because there was, you know, kids that like, it was cool to see some of the kids like, oh, I like this, like, you know what I mean? And just kind of enjoying it, and like, because I think that nowadays there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there, you know.
There is.
And to get all the, you know, to captivate, you know, a family together and help them. And yeah, anyways, you see, I'm like, you better leave her a tip, Dad, leave her a tip. But you know, it's that place, you know, places like that, you know, when you go to big shows, you're not going and putting money in a tip jar, you know what I mean? You know that they're getting paid, you know. So that's one of those things about, you know what I mean, that type of thing.
Get to have a lot of cool experiences out there.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, so they just don't, you know, they don't think about it, is what I meant to say. But the, you know, tipping, you don't think about it enough.
Always.
Okay. Anyways, but so the one that was amazing was Moonlight Lounge. That one was, so there was a, you know, they had the backdrop was just, oh my gosh, they had like this bookshelf that you open, and it like was the, you know, where you put all the equipment. And then you open this secret bookshelf, and it blended in with the whole, you'll have to check this place out, you know, like Google it, check it out, look at it. The backdrop is like a bookshelf, and you wouldn't know unless you're doing a show there. You're like, you know, because that venue is awesome. And And so anyways, we hung, like Katsuk had a curtain that he hung from the back, and it looked like really great. And the sound guy was amazing, just really on
On it.
cue. Was I do all my own sound and stuff because you just never know. I mean, I just did a show the other night, and I was so glad that I took my own sound because, and I get kind of sometimes I get these men that can be kind of, oh, good. All right, well, you're gonna do your own sound, whatever. And I'm like, yeah,
I
I
got
sure
it.
am. And I was glad that I did, because the other one that he was doing sound for, he didn't do so
Not so
good.
good.
There was squeaking, that
Mm.
sound. Everyone's like, oh God, what happened? And then he was like, couldn't get, over to turn it down, quick enough, because it's never quick enough unless you're right there by it,
Yep.
you know. And so, anyways, yeah. And I was like, oh, see what I mean? See what I mean?
Again, we were talking earlier, and I have no idea what you go through just to perform. I mean, not just to perform, but to perform every night, the amount of equipment and setup and tuning, and I don't have a clue.
It is no, I got it down pat. It's a workout, really. I got Mr. Bo Freckles, my wiener dog, in an expandable backpack. I mean, and he's with me. We got my guitar and the Bose.
Where's the bow? We have it over there now.
Oh yeah, we were meditating, so yeah. We did a short 5-minute meditation to ground.
Absolutely.
Anyways, that Bose is really compact. It's that new multi-directional, and it was pretty affordable. But I mean, Bose, they're top of the line. Like, that is what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that is amazing because it's compact, easy. And then I don't really have that much, I've got it down pretty
Pretty
pat.
well.
But the mic stand and that in the other Taylor guitar bag, it's a backpack. So you know what I mean? People are like, oh, I didn't even think about putting the mic
You're
stand
very
in there.
smart.
I'm like, yeah, well, it's a backpack, so it's easy to have one backpack and then, but I do need to get another wagon at Costco because
That would help.
the wagons at Costco they've got this tread on the tires, and they're like,
And get you wherever you need to go.
you could go over mud and rocks, everything.
Good to know. See all these great tips for you other artists out there.
If you need a wagon.
She's gonna be dropping some more great tips. So make sure you're listening in. So can you share more about your journey and how music became a means of self-expression and emotional release for you?
Yeah. Well, so I've always been a writer. I've been writing since I was as soon as I could. And like I said, that you had, not I said, you said, that I played for my brother. He's the one that started it all because he came in my room and he was like, hey, can you play the drums for our band? Whatever. And, or we need a drummer or something. And I was like, dude, I never played an instrument in my life. He's like, just keep a beat. And I was like, okay, so I did. And I got better and better, and you know what I mean? But I was getting ready to graduate high school, and I was like, well, I can't take a drum set with me to my dorm room, So I took a guitar class, and the first song I ever learned was Leonard Skinner's Simple Man. And I remember doing that song, and I was like, wait a minute. Because I started to like do some covers and stuff, and I was like, these are all pretty similar kind of chord, structures or whatever. And I was like, oh man, I've got like some serious writings that and so that's what it just became. I was like, I have a diary, I can sing,
Absolutely.
And so, and like, that's how it started. And I just, man, so the thing about it is that for birthdays and stuff, people are like, oh, play happy birthday. And I'm like, I don't really want to play happy birthday. But what I do is I'll write down I have everyone write down. I'll pass the cards out to everyone. You're like a bar, venue, whatever. It's like an instant event, like a mystery dinner. Just kidding. And anyways, and so everyone has to write something down about the birthday guy or birthday girl, and it has to be, nice, positive, whatever. Like, oh, she has nice hair, or
Yeah, this is not a roast.
oh yeah, oh she, yeah, right. Like, oh, well, like I've had some in the bars and stuff, and that booty dough,
That booty
literally,
dough.
that booty dough,
Spelled just like that.
and I said it just like that booty dough, and it was like, and so you read all of them. I'll read all of them aloud, and then I make a song up right then about everything, all put into one on the spot. And so, and I've literally sang, put it into a beautiful song structure, that booty dough. I think there's several artists out there that are doing that, but and so people really, really like the birthday, whoever's birthday it is, they feel amazing because they're like, oh, and I feel like everyone should feel good on your birthday. I think it's like that is something that is like, it feels really nice to feel good on your birthday. And so, anyways, but people are always like, how do you do that? I've had like, some people ask me whatever, and I'm like, honestly, if I think about it, music for me, once I learned how to, play guitar and started doing that regularly, I realized that I would, when I was alone, as soon as I could, I would write, and I mean, I would play and I would sing, and I would just let it all out. I would just let everything that was going on or whatever it was, and just sing about it. And it was just like, so that was something I had to do. Like as soon as I was alone, I was like, where's my guitar? Grab it, and I'm like, and so I can do that because I think because of that, it's like it's always been on the spot for me. It's always been one of those things that like I had to, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just, and then writing it down, of course, helps a lot. You'll forget it. But anyways, but the thing is it was like yeah, that's seems simple enough because I guess that's how it all started. And so, but it's really cool though to think about because, some of my ideas are really brilliant, I must say. But anyways, so I'm kind of like, we're going in a roundabout way around the question, Absolutely. But we're getting there on a dot.
We are.
We're in the maze. That's right. So where were we at actually?
Means of self-expression and emotional release for you.
Yes, right. That's right. Here we go. Yeah, no, that's it. In a nutshell, right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I love the story.
Yeah. And so that is where it all began. Yeah, I got that question.
I like that. Okay. No, I like that
story.
That is great. It's a connection that I wouldn't think of. I grew up in a house with music, and I'm thankful for that all the time. But music was my escape. But I tried guitar, couldn't do it. I think that was probably the only instrument I ever tried. But we were much more of a listening to music kind of family than a playing music kind of family.
Well, and like you said about my father, when I was a little girl, my mom, she split when I was 3. And so my dad raised me and my brother, and he was trying to do a commercial contracting company, and I mean, he did big jobs. Like he remodeled the Albuquerque Convention Center and made the catwalk handicap accessible out in Glenwood, New Mexico. And he's an amazing human, and raised 2 kids, and so anyways, but so during the summers, if it was winter, we were going to school, whatever. And we had like I said, my like one of my caretakers was she spoke Spanish, and I like spoke Spanish with her. We make tortillas made out of like dinosaurs and stuff, like homemade tortillas though, like the real good stuff. And there's actually a picture of me with flour all over my face when I'm a kid. I'm like, anyways, but during the summertime, when we were out of school, we would go with him to the job sites, And so I know, going to all these different places on these trips, all around New Mexico and stuff. And my dad would always have the radio on, and he would always be playing music, and he had a CD case, one of those ones that was like
flip open
black. It was like, you know what I mean? And he always put the books, the little with the album, when you buy the CD, you slide that out. And a lot of the time, not all the time, because trust me, I looked through a lot of them when I was a kid. They have the lyrics.
Yep.
And my dad always would put those behind the CDs, right?
In his little organizer.
In his little thing. And and there was a time when one Christmas I got a Walkman. Yeah. And so I would read a lot, but then I also would listen to my dad's albums. And I would listen to, and at that time I was really, really, really struggling with a lot because my mom was gone and I was 3, or, like she left when I was 3, and growing up as a girl with my dad and my brother, and it's frustrating, like it's hard. And I was in a lot of pain and a lot of, and at the time, back to the writing, actually, this is at the time I was, I thought my dad was trying to keep me from my mom. I thought that, and in reality, actually, he was protecting me in a lot of ways from some things. And I wouldn't have known that until when I turned 14, my dad had come in my room. No, you know what? I was younger than that. I get ages. I was younger than that. I was like 12. I was 12 because I hadn't, I was still in middle school. Yeah. I think I just started middle school. Anyways, he came in my room and he's like, I think you're old enough for this now. And he handed me this like journal that said 1992 on it. And I was like, and he goes, when I was going through the divorce, he said, my therapist, he had to see, he said, told me that, Daryl, your wife is addicted to drugs and you're addicted to your wife. And you're trying to raise 2 children and you're trying to run this big job and have deadlines and all these, it's very, very stressful. And my dad's always got like 90 million things going on all the time. I forget that. I'm like, hey, Dad, are you busy? What kind of a question is that? All the time.
I'm always busy.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask that. I know the answer already. Anyways, but so, and his therapist told him, if you don't get this out and you don't write it down, then you will bottle it up and you will explode.
Yep.
And so my dad would always tell me, be sure to write things down and write the date so that you can go back. You can look at it.
Very good advice.
And you can see what sort of, patterns there are, what sorts of things are happening in your life or whatever. And so I've always, I mean, people have probably found dictionaries, storage. Back when I was younger, storage units said like I didn't pay, and they, you know what I mean, full of journals and stuff, and they're all dated. And I mean, they had people actually, there's like a little twist in that. One time I met someone that did the like bids on this storage
units.
Yeah. And they had, I didn't, and they had got my storage unit or something, whatever. And there's not been a whole lot of them this had to happen in. Anyways, but so she got mine, and she I guess like read all of my journals and stuff, and
Oh.
she showed up at my shows, and like it was like the coolest thing ever.
That's an amazing
Yeah.
story.
Anyways, but back to what I was saying there, surfed at my dad and the whole writing things down and everything, you know. Um, and so there's a lot of things that go back to, and I actually, Facebook will help you with that now too.
Yep.
Sure will. I just saw that the other day. I was like, oh, you know what? There's a wait, 6 years ago, every 6 years.
You can
Start
see
to put
those
the dot.
patterns. Absolutely.
Are they good ones?
Yeah, not always.
Not always. But the older we get, the more good ones I think are supposed to come around, right?
Absolutely.
We're supposed to choose the right ones.
As we get older, we get closer to
Wisdom. That's what that is. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting the tomato in your fruit salad.
I love it.
So just we wrap that up really quick with my father and all of that. That was a experience to read that at that age and to realize what he was going through at that time and what I was going through at that time. And wow, like things like I picked Lexy up from school today, and she hates me. She won't look at me. She won't. And I did. I was like, I thought he was trying to keep me from my mom. And and then I realized, like, wow, all the pain that was going on within him and within all of us, really, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge, profound moment in my life in which writing became very important.
I can absolutely understand that. I wish I had had experiences that made me want to write. Instead, mine were the opposite.
Well, that's because you, see, I think that's hilarious. You just said that because there is a whole story in your art.
In my space.
Well, the art you make too.
Yeah. I mean, just like on the journaling thing, like that was nothing I ever developed.
Oh,
because growing up, I grew up in a household where my parents cheated on each other.
Oh, yeah.
And so there was no trust within the home.
Right.
And it wasn't that they didn't trust each other, but they trusted no one. So that included us. And it rolled downhill. And so their insecurities weren't just what they were hiding from each other. It was what were we hiding from them, or their fear that we were going to write something in a note to a friend about being abused at home, or my dad's drinking or my mom's abuse or whatever. And so my mom, it wasn't my dad. I don't remember my dad ever searching my room, but my mom not only searched my room, she searched my person on a daily, before and after school. I'd come home and she'd, like you see these movies where they flip a prisoner's cell and they just flip the bed and empty the drawers and throw. I would come home to that because my mom was sure I was hiding, stealing, sneaking, whatever.
So you are teaching me that so I would have never put that together, because the thing about the insecurities, and they're not trusting anyone, including us, but I mean, she's incredibly a genius. Obviously, she's a life coach. Hello, you have to have some credentials in order to give people coaching on their lives. You know what I mean? But so the thing is I never really thought about the fact that they turned on, what that happened to me. My dad did not. Now, I give him credit for the amazingness, and I know how hard he tried, but also he was a mean mother effer. We'll just put it that way. I mean, really, honestly, there was a lot going on, and he was stressed the out and like, and so yeah, there was a lot of that going on. And because my mom, ugh, she cheated on my, she actually cheated on my father with the doctor that delivered my brother.
Wow.
Have you seen Knocked Up?
Mhm.
Oh, you are Debbie's sister.
Absolutely.
What in the world, dude? Anyways, so my dad was, and he used to do that too. And you know what? Actually, this is really, really, um, it's sad actually. But one of my teachers one time, it's just, you know, this is the truth and this is life, you know, had told me that when I was a little girl, that she told me this like a couple years ago, reconnected with her on Facebook. And I loved her so much. She was amazing. And she was my second grade teacher. And she said that she's like, I had stayed up all night putting on my eyeliner and liquid on the top lid, really trying to get it right. Because she didn't really wear a whole lot of makeup.
Uh-huh.
Like, really, she was beautiful as she was. And she goes, and then she's like, I wore it and I was ready the next day. And she's like, and here comes little Lexy. And Lexi's like, Mrs. Mars, Mrs. Mars, no, 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 no. And she's like telling me, I took her to the bathroom and I was like, and turned the water
You
on.
tried to wash it off.
Oh, and told her, no, no, Miss Mars, you can't be a whore. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
is something that, and you know what? At the time, that's, people don't think about what they're talking about or what they're doing or what they're, and when people get mad at their children, you know, and they you know what I mean, that's something they carry forever and ever.
And
that
how
was
it comes out of us.
that was the podcast that I was just talking, showing you a little bit earlier, in the adventure it took
Mhm.
to get here. Ooh. We are still recording. Yeah, we are still recording. I was like,
Yeah.
what if we were, none of it was recording?
We're good.
I should have had a backup going. Like, okay. So, anyways, no. But so that was, you know, and I told I told my dad that, you know, and because I thought it was a little funny, actually. I mean, kind of, you know, I try to find the humor in things, but sometimes that's, you know, that's why I
Yeah.
do that.
Mhm.
It's
That's why
just
you
kind of
do
a
that.
numbing
Exactly.
process. It's just like a, you know, but that podcast that I was listening, that I showed you, sorry, I want to poke you. Vicious. Anyways, but that guy, he's talking about, can we really, he's like he has, you know, opened monasteries and things, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Done some serious meditation retreats. And anyways, and he talks about the fact that because the interviewer asked him if you can get rid of someone's trauma, past traumas, can you heal them completely to where they don't have these
Effect.
affecting them anymore?
Mhm.
And he said, because one of his specialties was the is it EMR?
EMDR.
EMDR. Thank you. That's right. And he talks about that there's a way to tap
Different. Mhm.
to, but it's a little bit different than the tapping. It's like a tool that they use or something. And it literally, because the organism, um, so, you know, you'll have to listen to this. Great. By the way, you should probably download the Insight Timer. If you don't have that app, you should definitely get that app, because that app is awesome. It's amazing. Meditation, there's like all these, it's everything you could possibly imagine. You can go and put 2 minutes long or 30 minutes long or whatever. It's just cool. Music, meditations, everything you could possibly want. Anyways, I had to do a little advertising there. Right? Inside Timer, I'll be waiting for my check.
You're gonna be waiting.
Oh, no. We're gonna talk about that too, because you can make your own meditations and podcasts on the Inside Timer.
Nice.
It's a
I look forward to
creative
learning more.
app. But yeah, so yes.
Yes, we're just gonna stop there.
They're just
Okay, let's go on.
Go ahead.
Can you share any experience or moments where you witnessed the transformative power of your music on others?
Yeah, I was gonna say that when I started doing the notes, telling people to write, if you have a tip for me or whatever. I had gotten one time, and water's good. Drink more water. Anyways, this gig, I was kind of upset because I was dealing with some issues. The owner of this place was kind of handsy. Not for long. I'll knock him out. Swear to gosh. But no, he was just kind of a
creeper,
slime ball, like an E, Anyways, and so I was frustrated and everything else, and I wasn't really like, he would always come up with like some stupid excuse and wasn't really getting paid from it, but there would be a lot of people going in, and most of the time I just love to play and let, you know what I mean? I really do. And so anyways, but I got a note. So I was kind of frustrated with the entire gig. And at the end, I was, the end of the night or whatever, I was reading some of the things that people had written down. And someone wrote me and said, today I was going to take my life. And they said that they were going through all this stuff. They lost their daughter in a divorce, and they had and wasn't allowed to see his kids and his, and just everything was just collapsing within his world. And he said that he was literally going to take his life, and he decided to stop in to this place that I was, performing, and in the mountains. And I played Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. And he said it reminded him of days with his daughter when she was young, and that he couldn't not see her grow up. And so that was a pretty good one. That was like, I felt like I was so, there's no money in the world that could
give you that.
So that's been a big one. And then there's on YouTube, I have one of the Thursday's Thoughts for Tunes, her story. Thursday's Thoughts for Tunes, Born Unwanted. That one is a crazy story, because that one, I was home in Magdalena, New Mexico, and I was in the mountains, and I was starting to take a break from the Thursday Thoughts for Tunes, and I was in this like cabin, and I was like house sitting, and anyways, and I decided to clean out my music bag, and just, and it was, ironically, I swear to God, I didn't plan this. It was a Thursday. Ended up finding this note in the very bottom of my bag and someone said, could you, I really am inspired by that you make people's stories into songs. And I have a story that I'd like to tell you. Give me a call. And they wrote their number. And I called her on a landline because I didn't have, you know what I mean?
That's what we had.
Up there in the mountains. And so it was like, and I called her and she told me her story. And it was like, whoa, oh my God. Like, she ends up, it's just, it's incredible. She ends up, her mom is always mean to her. Speaking of bad mothers. Oh, my mom thought this song was about her. No, mother, don't, I
Don't
got
flatter
that.
yourself.
Well, yeah, no. Don't flatter yourself. Damn. Anyways, that's a good one. Don't flatter you. Anyway, but so she's her dad, her mom never really like wanted her. Mom was really mean to her. So her dad kind of like took her under his wing. And then the mom and dad's they split up or whatever. And so she ends up living with her father because her mom is like a wreck or whatever, and very mean and hateful and everything else. And so then the dad dies. Okay, they move. She's 11 years old and the dad dies, and they're living in I think it was Kansas, or I can't remember. You could listen to the song. It'll tell you. Because I put the lyrics with the songs and it'll tell you the story.
I'm looking forward to it.
But anyways, and okay, so her dad died. And then she ends up going. So then his best friend promises the dad, like, I will take care of her and I will make sure that she's safe and everything else. And she says that he was a great caretaker and he did take good care of me, just like my father could have ever imagined. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the mom finds out that how much money she can get for a kid, because at this point now she's 12, or so her dad died when she was like 10, 11, 12. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh well, wait a minute, I want her back. And so then the guy, the best friend, and her, they're like, he's trying to like make sure that the mom can't find them because she's, you know what I mean, she's trying to find out where they are. Anyways, and the girl is like, she realized how much stress she was putting on this guy that was her dad's best friend. And she's a smart little girl and a caring enough human, was like, I mean, old soul, and said, hey, I can't let you continue to do this. Like, we can't keep running and running. And so she ends up going back with her mom. And from age 12 until she's emancipated herself at, 16, she was brutally raped and abused by her mother's boyfriends. And so, finally she runs away. And because of that lifestyle, she's prone to being attracted to and getting in a relationship, someone of an abusive nature, and ends up in this long relationship, and gets the hell beat out of her to the point where she's hospitalized and almost loses her life. And she has to get in the witness protection program, and they put her in New Mexico. Oh, wow. Right? Edgewood, New Mexico. And, she doesn't live there anymore. And I know this is a long time, you know what I mean? It's a long time ago, but it's so crazy because she happened to be at this bar at the, you know what I mean?
And you
up
were
there. And
put it
she
out
heard
there.
me, and then she writes me this story, and I always tell people, like, hey, if you want this to be private or whatever, like, I won't. And they're, you know what? They want people to hear the story. They want people to know. you know, and she actually, like, you'll have to check that song out. It's Born Unwanted on Thursday's Thoughts for Tunes. It's crazy because, and also I talk about, which is kind of cool. Oh, look at this watch. We're going to loop it around and then we're going to connect it. I was going to play The Wind for you all at the end.
Got to stick around.
But anyways, because in that video, which this video was like 4 or 5 years ago, I say in that video, oh, and it's a windy day, and I write the best music always. I've written even like poems and stuff like that. Was cussed. Don't cuss on the podcast. Anyways, you know, and always, you know, like thought. Not cussing, and then I forgot what I was saying.
Wind.
The wind. That's right. See, there went. Shoo, came back again. Anyways, it's the blonde. I got it a little bit lighter last night.
It's the blonde. It's the roots.
But so, and in that video, yeah, I'm talking about it's windy and like, I'm like, and it's a Thursday by like, how does that happen besides the divine? Anyways, she told me that she started her day every day listening to that song. And it helped her get through the day, which that was another really impactful. I've seen it a lot. I've seen that in your question. I've seen that a lot in a lot of people and a lot of shows. And I've had you know, I've had chicks sometimes they're like hating, just dogging, pissed off, and I get it, you know, whatever happens in your day or whatever in your relationship. And then I would play, and those are the best because I would play, and then I go to the bathroom, and then I ran into you know, one of the girls that was like being really, and her just have tears in her eyes and hug me and say, "Oh my God, your song Goodbye, like it is so amazing." And I was like, "See, I've always been saying like, hey,
this is why I do this.
We could be cool friends if you just be really nice." You don't even know. No, just kidding. But anyways, and you know, like hug and like, yeah, you know, and people relate songs to like different things in their lives. And then I think about how I related to the songs. I mean, my dad had Surfacing by Sarah McLachlan. That album, have you heard
the whole album?
The whole album, like the whole thing. It's like some albums you can listen to a few songs. You know who else is really good? It'd be like the Grassroots or like Chicago. You can listen to like the whole album, you know. But so and that and reading the words, oh my God, she is the most incredible writer. It is amazing. And her music helps me so much. That song, I Do What I Have to Do, that is like my anthem to my mom, you know, like, yeah, that's it. It's sad, but it's part of life.
It's part of life.
And that is exactly why scars are exactly what you have to have in order to, you know, have the wisdom, the fruit salad.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to hear your song.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more. Let me see here, because God, we covered so much, and I love your stories are amazing. Oh yes, let us talk about your beautiful brand.
That's what I was going to say was that moving into we're like us rolling into it. This has taken me a long time to figure out the exact design that I wanted that was everything that represented me. I've gone through a whole bunch of different stuff, you know, the lemur riding the rooster. There's actually a video on that too. It's called The Lemur on my YouTube channel, Lexy Pettis, Lexy Pettis. We should have some letters right here. Lexy.
We got it.
And anyways, you can subscribe if you want to or not, whatever. But anyways, and there's a video about it, but I had like a whole bunch of different designs and I hadn't found the one that I really, really wanted. And then it all came together because my dad one time showed me a root to this tree. It's an aspen pine up in, and so at the very, very top of the mountain in Magdalena, which that mountain goes way up there. At the very top, and these roots were like, they were hanging on for dear life. Like they were, oh my God. And it was just so amazing. He made this like centerpiece for my sister to hang her jewelry, because she does like jewelry shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just gorgeous. He's always known, trees and woods and like, you know what I mean?
Love it.
I love trees. And so it says, embrace the euphony. I guess if I can get closer to this thing right here.
You sure can.
Except yeah, there. Embrace the euphony. Lexy, Pettis is in the roots. That's pretty good stuff right there. Huh? And then music. Yes. I am so in love with this design. I'm so happy. I feel like I want people. I felt like the lemur riding the rooster was kind of like kiddish, and then so the back of it says embrace the euphony on the front. And then on the back, because no one knows what that word, unless I've had some, music professors and, people that know music. Oh, Emily's brother.
Okay.
He knew right away, he knows what the word means.
He absolutely does.
Anyways, but a lot of people don't know what euphony means, And so I put the dictionary, took the liberty of putting the dictionary definition on the back. And it has the phonetics. So since I was doing speech pathology, that's a big deal. Earlier, we were trying to pronounce, what was it?
Oh my God.
It's the pasanda tiempo. So anyways, how to say it, pronounce it. It's a noun. The quality of being pleasing to the ear, especially through a harmonious combination of words. So it's not just music, it's poetry. Embrace it. So for more information on upcoming shows, more merchandise, and streaming tunes, follow me on, and then I have everything, Spotify, Pandora, Facebook. Oh yeah, it's got my Facebook. You know what I was thinking though, because I've gotten really good at this screen printing thing. I was thinking about doing just QR codes.
I've had issues with QR codes.
I don't know if it would work actually with the ink. Yeah, no, that's not a good idea.
It's not. QR codes are kind of different.
Words are good.
Words are good, and that's beautiful.
QR codes can take you to somewhere. You just, whoa, what happened, man?
And they're also not the safest place to play.
So anyways, and this is for you. That's voted by. I want her to have excited. This. They're like really soft and
it has good quality.
They're soft on the inside. Now it's the winter time. Got to focus on that kind of stuff. Anyways, but enough about me.
But it's all about you. That is why we are here.
Oh, that's so lovely.
So what advice would you give to aspiring musicians?
If you can feel it deep down in your soul, and it makes you really, really resonate, and really it's something that you want more than anything in the world, then don't stray from it. Keep doing it. It's hard, but keep going. Because there's so much beauty, and you have the capability to do anything you want. We are amazing. This is like, look at this. We're walking around. You can dance if you want to. You can do it all friends behind. And if they don't dance, no. But humans, I mean, we have some capabilities. Hello. And you seriously, it's something that you just have to dig deep, dive, go in there. And it's really hard sometimes, but you know what? There's philosophers, there's quotes about it. There's throughout history, centuries, whatever, that without struggle, it's not really worth it, is it? You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Without the struggle of eating a damn fruit salad with a freaking tomato in there, you wouldn't know. So you got to go through some pain. You got to go through some hardships. And music is something that is a frequency. And it is something that can change the world. It can change someone's day. It can change their life. Honestly, I've literally seen it happen and experienced it. And it's like, whoa. And you know what? There's nothing in the world. There's a lot of stuff out there right now that we really want. I really want. There's a lot of things. Anyways, but the thing that you really, really have to understand is that music is something that you can help the world with. Don't be so selfish. Always think about just yourself, all these things that you want. Think about everybody. I'm just kidding. But in a real way, actually, I'm not kind of kidding, because it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And honestly, we need more good music. We need more people speaking their truths and stepping up and saying that they're not okay with some of the baloney that is going on right now. That's for sure. I got a song actually on YouTube also, and it's for the pandemic. So it's called Open Your Eyes, because we were all wearing masks. I'm going, hey, if your mouth is covered and you can't speak, well, then open your eyes. You can't open your mouth, open your eyes and look around and see what's going on, because
I love that.
Yeah, you'll just check it out. It's on YouTube also. And so that's like, are you serious? Some of this, and I just don't know. I just don't know if you guys realize how important it is to keep it together. I always have been saying, I'm building my army for real. There's a lot of things going on. There's some real evils in the world. I really truly believe that you can experience a higher self, and you can just kind of dodge all the nonsense.
Absolutely.
Seriously. You got to be a warrior. You got to get out there and fight, but still be at peace.
And music has always been that for me.
Yeah.
Always. And you talk about, resonating with the song or connecting with the song, the ability for it to change lives, change my life, change so many lives. My favorite band is Blue October, which is a Texas band. And talk about one person, one voice, one story that has touched more people in such a deep way.
I can't even believe you just said that.
Oh, they're my number one.
Hate Me is my song band to my mom. Like, it is my, I got, once, of course, that one was when I was a little girl going through pain, but when I was like in teenagers and like and now at this age, I'm like, I literally just sent that. I don't talk to her. We don't see each other because she just can't be in my life. It just does not work, because like your mom just, hurt people,
Yep.
And I know that, she's a beautiful person, but she's hurt, and she hurts others. She hurts me. She hurt me.
You.
Woo! I'd like to tell guys, I'm like, dude, I really want to let you know that you're not going to break my heart. You're not going to, well, you'll break my heart. I didn't mean that, but not like that. I can get heartbroken. I'm a crier. I'm an empath, but you're not going to break it and leave a scar as thick and as nasty as the one that my mother left. There's no one that could top it. It's like, that is the all-time anguishing pain. I have a poem about it, like the love that got away, the love of my life, the one that got away is the same bitter cheat whom I know I can't save. So it's like, and Hate Me is, and the more and older I get, I realize like the words, I'm like, oh, dude, this is exactly how I feel.
and all the lyrics are like that. I love, like, I will spend early mornings.
We didn't even discuss this before.
Nope.
We didn't have no idea. See how that works?
And it's funny too, because I'm preparing to interview on the podcast my favorite author. And I was going back and writing my part about how I found her as an author.
Yeah.
And my connection to her as a person. And it literally started with the very first book of hers that I picked up. And on page 4, it's two people who are in a cabin and they're waiting for their partners to arrive for a vacation.
Yeah.
And they get snowed in and their partners get snowed out. And so they're just chilling, munching Doritos, decide to throw on music. They both like Blue October. So there's a whole conversation on page 4 in this book that I never knew the author, had never read her work before. And there's a whole page about the connection between these two people and Justin's lyrics.
Yeah.
And that was it. I fell in love with
Justin?
that. Justin Furstenfeld, the lead singer of Blue October. So I fell in love with that author, that moment. Like that moment, I had a connection to her that I will never have with another, and then you meet people. And like I have a Blue October decal on the back of my car now.
Oh my God, this is so funny because I'm like, wow, like this song just came back in my life. Like just like recently, me and my brother were talking about songs back in the day that we listened to. And like, so, I was having a good time with him. I love him. And we were like, I was like, we were jumping on the bed. We were listening to that one CD, fucking, we were like freaking, and we were talking, and anyways, and then all of a sudden I remembered Blue October. And this is like, I would say I'm like half past a freckle, I guess. No, it's like a couple, weeks ago. And all of a sudden we didn't even, and it's so funny because I remember I listened to it recently. I was like, oh my God, because it feels good. It's a weird thing. It's, you know what I mean? It grabs you, it's reaching in your soul and grabbing you and choking you a little bit because it's kind of painful, but at the same time, it feels liberating.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I like to
go on with that.
I love to spend time watching influencers view their videos for the first time.
Yeah.
And the connection. And it's the same. You feel it. You feel it in your guts and your soul.
Yeah.
And you're relating to this person who's hearing it for the first time. And within 1 or 2 songs, they're hooked and their life has changed. Right. And so that's, for me, that's what music is.
Yeah.
It is that deep connection that we may never meet this person, but their music has influenced us to our soul.
Yeah.
And it was music that, when he was writing, he was going through the story of losing his daughter because he was an addict, and the mom took the daughter away to protect her. We know the story. But listening to him fight for his rights as a father, at the same time, I was dealing with my daughter's biological father who never wanted her. And I couldn't, in my mind, understand how one man could fight with everything in his soul for his child, and another man could fight with everything in his soul to get rid of a child.
Yeah.
And so
that's conflicting.
That was the love, the passion that I shared listening to Blue October, was watching his struggle and not understanding it, but it was enough that it brought me peace.
That is beautiful. Did you write that down? She already knows it.
I actually have.
You know what? It's because you experience it on the daily, and because there's things that you just can't make up. You just couldn't even imagine. People, the stories you hear and like life-changing, profound things, you just couldn't make them up. They're just like, because you experienced it. That's how I feel about my spirituality and everything. I know because I've experienced it. I know, like I was telling, we got this whole, my, I better not say, might get in trouble. But someone who is in the family might or might not, be a lesbian, or thinks she is, or, whatever. And I get it. I remember when I was her age, when I was young, and I thought that I was a lesbian. I was have dreams about girls, and I would like, you know what I mean? And I was confused, I was like, I was like around guys all the time, and like, whatever. And so, and also, your first kind of like sexual encounters happen with girls, because
Mm-hmm.
you're like playing house. And I remember my neighbor, like her parents were super loving. They loved each other. They were awesome. They're still together, beautiful people. And that's just amazing. That's all you could hope for someone, is to have a beautiful, loving family when they grow up, makes good people. Now, not saying that the traumas don't make good people too, because they got some lessons to teach you.
They do.
We got the streets cred. Anyways, but yeah, so whenever we would play house or whatever, she'd be like, well, now we're husband and wife, we have to kiss. And I'd be like, okay, well, whatever. And then, I'd go to like just kind of peck her or whatever, like, on the cheek or something. And she's like, Lexy, we have to kiss like we aren't going to see each other for a while. And I'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh,
And it was
okay.
like a salty, weird mess. Anyways, but so, and then like, growing up, I just kind of, I never, and then also is another thing with my brother, it'd be like, oh, I bet you I could get that chick before you could, you know what I mean? Like joke around with it. I'd be like, you're on. Fucking break. No, but anyways, but then until I was older, I was 19. I was in college, and I, accidentally, well, I mean, I kind of was dating a girl, like I didn't realize what it was, and I feel bad about it now because I was confused. I didn't know. And then I remember waking up, and she was gorgeous. We were lipstick Lisas. You know what that means? Just kidding. Anyways, but so, I woke up one morning, and like I looked over, and she was like a tattoo artist, and she was badass. She had like sick tattoos, and she was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was like one of these photos, these, not photos, paintings,
Paintings.
amazing art that you have here. Maybe take that thing off and show them. Anyways, and so
You woke up. She was beautiful.
reel it in, reel it in, reel it in. Yes. And I was like, oh my God, I am not a lesbian. You know, I realized that moment, and I felt bad because she was older and she knew what she wanted in her life. And she was upset because she was, invest in love. And like, it was like, and I felt really terrible. She was like, I never, never heard from her. I haven't spoken to her. Oh, she's doing well though. Wishing love. But I just didn't know. And so I get it. I feel, I feel like with my, some of the, kids and stuff, you just find your own way. Find your own way, seriously. And also, if you're really, really young, parents can't be letting their kids have freaking sleepovers and stuff. If you know that your kid, like nowadays, this is happening. They're like, oh, I'm a, I'm a non-binary, okay, whatever. And then they're gonna like, oh, okay, we're gonna have like a girl sleepover. Well, that's just the same as one girl at a guy sleepover. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of we don't know going on. I'm just kidding.
As a parent, I will fully admit to being completely blind to that concept because that was not my experience. My friends, when I was a young girl, we went to Catholic school.
Oh,
so there was none of that.
No,
there was no mind wandering or trying or any of that. And I didn't do any of that until I was in my 40s and single for the first time in my life and went, I don't even know who I am.
Wow.
What I literally, like, I went from high school living at home to married and children and working and just the perfect normal household, normal life.
Pretty perfect.
And she's pretty perfect. Sweet. But then, in my 40s, getting divorced, my kids were grown. They weren't living at home anymore. It was me and the dog. And I had a house full of things that were just things.
It's probably pretty
They
fun.
not really.
No, no,
You
no.
know, a lot of, crappy guilt gifts and
Oh,
things
yeah.
that really weren't personal to me. And that's why this
Oh,
space
yes,
is so
yes.
personal to me,
Yeah.
because everything
It's
that is
gorgeous, by the way.
everything that is in this space is me. It's something I want here
Yeah. I feel like we should take this and give it a
and
whirl.
show around. We can do that.
Yeah, we should do that because look at this is gorgeous. Let's see how well we can do this.
So you turn and I'll be the eyes on this side.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay,
good.
we're gonna
Oh,
try
yeah.
not to make everybody sick and move slowly. There
Yes,
you
that's
go.
right. Good, good thinking.
Okay, spin
Okay,
around.
so we're gonna spin around and
Down a little bit.
down a little
There
bit
we go.
here.
Right there. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. I like this teamwork. And there we are. And colloidal silver, that's good for you. And look over here. Look at this gorgeous over here. This is just gorgeous.
All of my beautiful
Let me turn around this way.
tapestries for my
I
wonderful
want to move slowly.
friends.
I want to move slowly.
Art from some amazing local
Happiness in our town.
artists here
We
in
got those little
town.
skeletons over there. Can you see those? Those are hilarious. And look over there. They don't keep together very well. They come a little unwound, but for the most part, they're they're rolling pretty well. Anyways, but so that is a really cool little cocktail place, and it's usually Hector is the bartender and he's a lot of fun. And actually, he's getting to do his first fight in December.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Boxing,
serious. We
great.
gotta really support New Mexico athletes.
Absolutely.
Well, New Mexico badasses as a whole, I think.
Absolutely.
And so then we have in January, there is the Posada Tienda Winery. And this is over actually by the Cottonwood Mall. And I will be there on the 6th and the 20th of January from 6 to 9 p.m. And this place is just lovely. You would enjoy it. There's a lot of other things coming up, but you'll have to tune in for the next one to get that information.
I'll make sure and include her Facebook page and other contact information in the show notes, so you'll know exactly where to find Lexy.
That's right.
I want to thank you all for hanging in till the end, because it is going to be well worth it. Thank you, Lexy, for being here, for sharing all of these amazing stories so people can really feel where your music comes from.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Oh,
I really am so grateful that I got to do this with you. Like I said, and all of the evils and all of the things that were trying to stop us from letting this happen. Seriously. And here it is.
We made it happen.
And it's been a beautiful thing, really it is. And I'm really grateful to know you. I'm so happy. And Emily's just a gorgeous, beautiful soul. She's always been very colorful and just brightens humans.
It's just sunshine in a bottle.
Even if you don't play music, that's the other thing too. Even if you don't play music, as long as you are enjoying your life and having compassion for people and understanding, one of my quotes is actually that without perspective in your relationships throughout your life, you open the door to ambiguity and destruction. So it's very important. Perspective is very important. And let your creative side flow. Really get it. Who cares? Dancing, everything. We love it all of it. It's amazing. There's a lot of quotes out there. There's a lot of people that are, taking a stand and saying, hey, this, instead of working in this job that you hate or that you whatever, if you find peace with something, then that is your art. That's your art. And that's what you, and as long as you're happy, because honestly, Sadhguru, I'm sure you guys have heard of him.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. Anyways, but he says that there's no such thing as good people and bad people. There's happy people and there's miserable people. And that's such a good point, because when we stop and think about it, when we're happy, we want happy. Like we want
We
everyone
want
to be
happy.
happy. You're at peace, you're in love, and there's like there's so much love that could be, you know. In fact, this is another little writing for you. Although pride will whisper that more than oneself is simply not needed, the fact of the matter is our souls exist because of the power of love and every living thing's innate instinct to need it. And that's a small, there's a whole poem, which I'm in the process of getting a book published. So there's a coming way down the line, but I'm really excited about it because I have a lot of writings that I want on paper. And that's another one, Dr. Blue. Look at that. We brought it to a loop.
Mm-hmm.
The dear friends that passed away, that was my therapist, everything else. He actually, this song that I'm going to do is going to be in honor of him. And he also is the reason that what was I getting to?
Writing a book?
The book. He's the reason that I am writing a book because he introduces me to people. He did introduce me, but he's still around. To people that were able to make this happen, people that own publishing companies, people that every time I went to his house, I met someone that was, that level of success, that person I needed to sit down and talk with. And these were beautiful house concerts that were shamanic. This song, actually, the one I'm going to play is called The Wind. It was written for in last Christmas. Wow. So a year ago. Wow. I played on Christmas Day at Dr. Blue's house, and I wrote a song. It was a shamanic Irish wake. And he said, I want you to come and be a part of this. And they do drumming circles and all this, and anyways, and so I thought about, and he said, this is going to be in honor of everyone that we lost in 2022. And so I sat down and I started thinking about the people that I lost in 2022. And I was like, wow. And the stories I heard, from a friend of mine, her daughter killed herself and she didn't even know. She was like, I didn't even know that she was going through this. I wish she would have told me. I wish she would have screamed at me. I wish she would have told me something so I could have just stopped it. But like that story to, someone who was, really wanted to impress their father, and they spent years in medical school and they were about to graduate and their father died. And, they were like, oh, I thought I would get to hear you say, and
I'm proud. Yeah.
And yeah. And so, and I thought about like, how am I going to write this? I can't call it death, I can't call it. And I was like, I guess I could, but it wouldn't, that's not really it's not just quite as elegant. So I thought maybe culmination, ascending to, the higher peak. I like that one. And then I was playing it and I was like, Lexy, this song is called The Wind,
I am so ready and so looking forward. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody here. Have them hold on just a bit moment. We're going to pause this recording, give her a minute to get set up, hang around for The Wind. And if you enjoyed this interview,
I'm going to take the elevator down to the floor. I gotta go.
Make sure you like, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Finding Resilience with Leann. Happiness on Tap podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Audible. For more information, please check out my website at Finding Resilience with Leann, and subscribe to my email tribe to receive exclusive promotions and new product service announcements, blog notifications, upcoming events, and upcoming podcast guests. So give us just a brief moment while she gets set up, and hang tight for The Wind.
All right, here we go. This is The Wind. This is for Dr. Blue. Does it ever make you want to feel the pain? Space devotions take away Thought I'd only get to hear you say, and the wind came in and swept you away. I couldn't hear you screaming my name. Then it goes away from another day. Suddenly deep within me, I'll stay. Nobody there, but I wasn't prepared anyway. All of the times that we had shared, oh, guide your way somewhere out there. I'd only get to hear you say, and the wind came in and swept you away. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You check it out on YouTube, Lexy Pettis, Lexy Pettis. Have a beautiful day.